Okay, in jQuery, CSS manipulation is for adding the classes, like removing classes to the assignments. Okay, in runtime, we can add already predefined CSS classes to the HTML elements. Okay, for example, in runtime, if you want to add an extra class to the HTML elements, we can add class, or if you want to remove the class, we can remove, and we can add one extra CSS properties to HTML elements. Okay, the following methods for CSS manipulation: add class. Okay, this class, this method that is used to add one or more classes to the selected HTML elements. Okay, in runtime. And the second method is remove class. Okay, remove class is for removes one or more CSS classes from the selected HTML elements. Using this method, we can remove one or more classes from the selected HTML element. Okay, and the third method is toggle method. Instead of using add class, remove class, we can use toggle class. Okay, this works between add class and remove class. Toggle method works between add class method and remove class method. Okay, so observe this method names. First word small letters, from second word onwards caps letters. Okay, from second word onwards first letter caps. So toggle method works between add class and remove class. Okay, instead of using add class, remove class, we can use toggle class method to add the classes or remove the one or more classes from the selected element. And one more method is fourth one, CSS method. So using this method we can set or return to the style attributes. Okay, and syntaxes for this: so we can use dollar symbol and selected element. Okay, so this is HTML element, and dot add class. In this method we have to define the CSS class name. Okay, my class. So this is the CSS class. So when you apply this class, okay, CSS properties will apply to the selected HTML element, and we can add one or more classes like this: my class 1, my class 2. So like this we can apply multiple classes. And the remove classes, so dollar symbol selector dot remove class, remove class. So define the class name in the method. So it will remove the selected class name from the selected HTML element. And for toggle class, we can use toggle class method for the HTML elements. Selector dot toggle class my class. So this class will add to the HTML element if it is not there. Okay, if is there in the selected element, it will remove the from the HTML element. Okay, this class will work between add class and remove class. And CSS method, selector dot CSS method. So we can add CSS properties to the HTML elements using this method. Uh, use flower bracket to add multiple CSS properties like background color, okay, and comma, one more color, white color, text color is white and background color is blue. So these CSS properties assigned to the selected HTML element. Okay, like this we can apply CSS properties, or we can add or remove CSS class name to the HTML selected HTML element. So open folder, so copy this one, create one HTML form, CSS manipulation .html. Okay, this is one new HTML form. So we can use this content so div tag we can use, and we can remove this div2 tag. Okay, and we have 4 buttons. These 4 buttons for add class, btn add class, and second button btn remove class, toggle class, btn toggle, btn css method button. So when you click on add class button, we need to write some CSS class. Use style tag to write CSS classes. Define class name, my class, and background color. We can define the background color like okay, and text color. Triple F is white color, and div height 200 pixels, width 200 pixels. Okay, and padding 20 pixel. So now so we have one div tag id is div1. Okay, so first remove these methods. So first time when you run this form, okay, only without any css class div tag will be displayed. Okay, run this example. So there is no class is applied for the div tag. So when you click on add class button, this class, okay, this pre-defined class will apply to the div tag. So write the method hash btn add class dot click function. Okay, this event handler add to this button in the runtime. Okay, no need to define the method events in button declaration. So dollar symbol hash div1 dot add class my class. Okay, so when you click on this button, this function is executed. This statement is for adding the class as already predefined this class. So these properties will apply to the div tag. Okay, so now refresh this example. So click on this button. Okay, so refresh this, go to inspect, and you can see there is no class is applied, only div tag id is there. So when you click on add class button, class is added. Okay, class attribute equal to my class. Okay, if class is not there, class is added. If class is there, we can remove the class when you click on remove class button. Hash btn remove class dot click, okay, function dollar symbol hash div1 dot remove class my class. Okay, so when you click on this add class button, class is added. When you click on remove class button, class will remove from the div tag. Okay, now you can check this add class. Okay, class added, remove class. Okay, class removed. Okay, class attribute is there, but class name is removed. So now toggle class dash btn toggle dot click function dollar symbol d1 dot toggle class. Okay, so instead of using add class button and remove class button, directly we can use toggle class button. Okay, for adding and removing class name. So directly we can use this button, toggle class. Now first time there is no class for div tag. So click on toggle button, class is added. Okay, if class is there, class removed from the selected tag when you click on toggle class button. Okay, so like this it will work between add class and remove class. And finally CSS button, hash button CSS, click function d1 dot css method. So instead of using style attribute in the tag declaration, we can use css method to apply the css properties. For multiple properties we have to use flower bracket, and we can use single quote or double quote to define the css properties. So background color colon, so use color codes here. In real-time applications, must and should we have to use color codes only, don't use color names. Okay, you can find the color codes in online. Color, okay, this is text color, white color, and div height 300 pixels, width 300 pixels. Okay, so when you click on CSS button, these properties will apply to the div tag. Okay, style attribute is added. You can see here style attribute and background color red color, text color white, div height and width. Okay, these properties you can see here. So this is the CSS manipulation in jQuery. Okay, we can add class and we can remove the CSS class, and we can toggle the CSS class. And after that Ajax. Okay, Ajax is the most important concept in jQuery. Ajax stands for asynchronous JavaScript and XML. Ajax stands for asynchronous JavaScript and XML. So Ajax is about for loading data in the background. Okay, Ajax is all about for loading data in the background. Okay, so this for real-time example, you can see Gmail. Okay, so when you click on inbox, only inbox is refreshed. When you click on send mail button, only sent mail box is refreshed. When you click on span, Okay, only spam mails will be refreshed here. Okay, total page is not refreshing, right? So without loading the whole page, we can refresh the particular part in the web page using Ajax. So this is the main important feature in jQuery. Okay, so loading the data in the background and display it on the web page without reloading the whole page. And jQuery provides several methods for Ajax functionality. So methods for load method. Okay, load method is for loading the data in the background. It is very simple to use, very simple to use in applications. Okay, and it is very powerful Ajax method. And the load method loads data from the server and puts the return data into the selected element. Load method read the data from the server and put it onto the web page. Okay, load method syntax. So dollar symbol selector dot load method URL and comma data and callback function. Okay, already you know callback function. Okay, after complete the load method, callback function will be executed, and this is the URL. Okay, this URL nothing but APIs. Okay, developer will give the APIs to read the data from the database. Okay, developer will take care of the APIs. So developer will develop the APIs and give it to the UI developers. Okay, we have to use the URL to read the data from the database, and this data parameter is for return data. Okay, so this data variable contains data from the database, and after complete the load method, callback function will be executed. Okay, uh, here URL is the required parameter to specify the URL, okay, to load the data from the database, and data parameter and callback parameter, these both are optional parameters. Okay, the optional callback parameter is the name of the function, and this function to be executed after the load method is finished. And in jQuery contains two more important methods, that is get method and post method. Okay, these two are also important methods. Request the data from the specified resource. Get for get method is used for request the data from a specified resource. Data from the specified resource. Specified resource means server. Okay, from the specified database it will get the data from the server, and post method submit the data into the server. Using this method we can submit data into the server. Okay, this is the usage of Ajax. So I will explain one example on this Ajax calls. So I have implemented one example in .NET. So I will show that example. Okay, so this is the .NET application on form. So this is nothing but a registration form. After you enter first name and last name, email, phone number, and you have to click on some save button. So this function insert employee function is defined in JavaScript. Okay, in this JavaScript function, okay, Ajax method is that $symbol dot Ajax. Okay, this method is for post. Okay, we are submitting data into the database, right? So this is URL. This is nothing but a API. Okay, and you can see this code in the backend. Okay, this is the insert emp data method. Okay, this is web method. So this web method is executed when you click on the button, save button. Okay, this save button, when you click on the save button, this function is executed. In this function here, web method, this is the URL, example form.aspx slash insert emp data is the web method, nothing but API. Okay, this method is defined in the background. Okay, backend server side code. Okay, so developer will take care of this code, so they will give the APIs. So I have written some logic to save the data in the database. Okay, this method contains connection for the SQL server. Okay, so this server is located in my local system, so that's why I have taken server name as dot, and the database name is prasaddb is the database name, and my server user ID and password in my local system. Okay, so this is the connection for database. And after that, so these are the classes. These classes in .NET connect to the database and executed the query in the database. So this SQL data adapter is the mediator between SQL server and .NET. Okay, this adapter execute the query in the database. Okay, connect to the server and execute this query, insert query in the database. So insert into table emp. So this is the table name, and these are the class column names: first name, last name, email, and phone. And these are the values: first name, last name, email, and phone. So these values coming from data variable. Okay, this is the parameter. So this parameter contains first name colon. So this is the uh, simple statement to read the data from the text box. Okay, in JQuery in .NET. So $symbol hash. This is the ID for text box, txt f name. Okay, this is the ID for the text box. Dot client ID. So client ID means this is client side client side elements. So that's why we are taking client ID. Dot value. So this value read from text box. Okay, and after that name is the last name, and after that email and phone, and after that content type. we are passing data. Okay, we are passing data as JSON data type and cassette UTF-8. Okay, data type is JSON data type, and this is the success method. If data is successfully inserted in database, this function is executed, success function. Okay, if is there any errors while inserting data into the database, this failure function will be executed and display alert box, error occurred. Okay, so this connected to this web method, and this query is executed in the database and to save the data in the database. Okay, so I will show you this in SQL Server. So open this SQL Server. Okay, so now we can create one database. So the database name is PrasadDB. Okay, and you can take one table in the database, table EMP, and column names is first name and last name. So create one table. EMP ID, first name and last name, email, phone. And phone. So this is the table in database. So EMP ID is the primary key. So now save this. Table name is table EMP. Okay, so table is created here in our database PrasadDB. One table is there. So now there is no data in the table, right? So open this table. So there is no data. Okay, all nulls is there. So now we can run this example. Okay, we can run this form. So I will show you this with the breakpoint. Okay, so you can observe this form first. In the table, I had designed one registration form. Okay, with first name, last name, email, and phone. And the save button is there, and the display data button is there. When you click on save button, the data is saved into the database. When you click on display data button, it will read the data from the database and display the data in the table format. Okay, so now run this example. Okay, here first name, last name, email, and phone. So first name, last name, email harsha@gmail.com and phone number. Okay, this is the example phone number. So now click on save button. Okay, so here you can see the code. So this method is executing now. Okay, this parameter names here. Okay, Harsha and last name H and email harsha@gmail.com and phone. Okay, so these parameters, first name, last name and email, phone number parameter is sent to the database. Okay, now we are connecting to the database. Okay, we connected to the database, and this statement, okay, this query, insert query, is executed in the database. Okay, so data inserted into the database. Now you can see the data in the database. Okay, 1 second. So we have to complete this one. Okay, da.fill dt. So now the data is filled into the database. If data is inserted into the database, it will get the count. Okay, records in the database. How many records is there in the database? The count will be written here. Okay, now one record is there. Okay, so the record is inserted in database. Okay, so now alert box is displayed, successfully inserted. Okay, again display data in the table format, first name, last name, email and phone number. So these details are given, and these details are getting from the database using this method. Okay, using this function we are inserting data into the database, and using this method we are reading the data from the database. Okay, when you click on get display data button, this get all employees function will be executed, and this is the URL to read the data from the database. Okay, this is the web method. This web method is executed here. Okay, and this is the query, select star from table emp. This query is executed in the database. Okay, to read the data from the database, and get data method here is connect to the database and read the data from the database, and returning this data as XML format. Okay, and from XML we are converting into JSON, and if data is successfully getting from the database, this on success to function will be executed. This function automatically generate the table. Okay, this is one array variable and this is one array variable, headers and rows in the table. Using headers variable we are creating table for the first column. Okay, column names, and this is the looping. Okay, this looping getting the records from the customers variable. Okay, this customers variable contains records from the database. So one by one read and display the data in the table. And finally we are closing table tag, and we are displaying this table in div table. div tag. Okay, here we have div tag. We are adding the table into the div tag. Okay, in div table tag is there. So like this you can insert multiple records. Okay, test 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 at gmail. Okay, phone number. Okay, data is inserted. Okay, test record also displaying here. Okay, in database also record is there. So like this we can communicate with the database easily using JQuery Ajax. Okay, so without reloading the whole page, we can load the data in the background and display onto the web page. Okay, from now onwards, we have to use these Ajax calls only to read the data and to insert the data in the database. Okay, like AngularJS, React, Node.js, all these techniques are used to uh, insert the data into database. Use Ajax calls only.